Mom! Cut me off, don't stand.
You may think this is a track team, but it's not. It's the Brattleboro Union High School Band, and they're running their way to Broadway. And needless to say, on the way to BUHS's appearance at Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, there was a little bit of work to be done. And the work consisted of such things as calisthenics, exercises, and rehearsal and rehearsal and rehearsal. This is a little bit of the story of what it takes.
Here we go.
What it takes to get to New York City.
Stay standing straight. Don't bend over. Bring it right up behind you, okay? All right, let's try this now. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, begin. 1, 2, 3, 4. Watch your balance. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to switch to the other leg. 1, 2, ready, begin. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good. 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The other leg. Ready, begin. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and stop. Very good. Very good. Ready, front. Okay.
Bob Simonds is the leader of the BUHS band and probably one of the prime movers that got them to Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Without his leadership, which is at times nice, kind, and wonderful, and at other times not so nice, kind, and wonderful, without his leadership, without his drive, and without his dedication, Macy's would never have been a reality for Brattleboro. They never would have seen Broadway. And why? Probably because every once in a while he pushes just a little bit harder. Just a little harder than they'd really like to be pushed. But they realize that man's the boss. And that man is the one who makes them the finest band in the state of Vermont. And they don't mind it every once in a while when he yells.
You don't stand straight and look forward. In this particular case, your head turns to the right when you give your number. Some of you stood there and looked straight ahead. You turn your head to the right and give your number. 6.
4, 5, 6, 1, 2,
4, 5, 6, 1. Ready? Front.
Move back!
Carl, I should see you. There you go.
Worry about Deanna, move back! Somebody
Right.
That's too far, you guys! Just say something.
Molly, cover down. Everybody cover. Over. There it is.
Both ways, Kelly, not just one way.
Hurry! Red! Don't anticipate. Hudson! Hut! Dress left! Dress! Ready! Front! Don't shake your head. You can't have any movement. Hurry! Rest! Hudson! Hut! Hurry! Rest! Hudson! Hut! Don't anticipate. Ready? Okay, thank you very much. We'll work with the band.
Bring the flags inside. See
Over
them
there.
running.
Percussion line, I think we're going to work together, right? You will need your instrument. Right over behind the bleachers.
Kelly boy!
By 8.
Let's show these cameramen that we're the best band in New England and we can do this right.
You're at attention.
They're not
Colin.
here to
Looking
see you
straight
screw
ahead.
up.
Looking straight ahead.
They're here to see a band that's going to New York. By invitation. Now let's show them you're the best. David?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
All right, let's put all the 8s. All the 8s right back here on this line. All the 8s. All the 7s. All the 6s. All the 5s. All the 4s.
Thank God. Three extra people.
Okay. All right, what we're going to do right now is what we did yesterday, a little playing, marching forward with a glide step. Now remember the glide step? Keep things tight. Keep things tight. Hold that marble. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. I would like to use, let's go with the A-flat concert scale. A-flat concert. C instruments are in A-flat. B-flat instruments are in what? What are you in? And 4/8 notes for the... B-U-H-S! 4 giant steps and 4 baby steps. All right, let's turn around and head it back the other way. Sounds to me like you don't know the constant A-flat scale. It's nothing to it. Nothing to it. Cover down. Cover down.
Meanwhile, the percussion group is getting its own workout at another part of the field. And if you're not careful and an unwary cameraman, you may wind up in trouble.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hard time. 1, 2. Point the toe. 5, 6. Ready. Pull. 1, 2, go. Move.
And the best part is saved for the last part of the day. They get the chance to run the track. Every single one of them gets a chance to race around at least once. After all, it's a long march in New York City, and they've got to start getting in shape. It's really a run to Broadway. But as they raced and as they raced, other things occurred too. Other things like band concerts and raising money and marching in football games and all sorts of things. The 4th of July parade, the alumni parade, all sorts of fun all through the summer, building up to Macy's. And that build-up to Macy's included fundraising. Fundraising at the community band concerts and other places. A goal of some $30,000 was established, and as everybody knows now, that was exceeded, and what's been raised is nearly $40,000. The excess that wasn't used in the Macy's parade will be put towards other band trips in the future. It's safely tucked away in the bank so that it can be used for other things. It should be understood that those that are in the community band are not all BUHS students, but a lot of them are, and other community members that enjoy playing under Bob Simonds' leadership. They're all here now just for the fun of it. But then, isn't that why they're in the band anyway? They learn a lot, but they really enjoy a lot, and they grow at the same time, here and in the BUHS band. And it wasn't long before the day arrived, the day that they left for Macy's, the day they left for New York City. 3 huge Greyhound buses from Vermont Transit gathered outside Brattleboro Union High School as friends, family, and neighbors said goodbye to the band and wished them Godspeed down in New York City. Here comes Brattleboro, Vermont. Yay, Macy's. All sorts of signs all over the place. And all sorts of celebration as parents and friends had that moment before the holiday, the moment when they realized most of them wouldn't be with the youngsters. That moment of fine farewell and final good word as to what they should be doing and what they'll be missing. But the fun that they'll have in the city. And it wasn't long before the sirens and fire trucks and all the other vehicles said goodbye to them as they paraded off towards New York City.
Happy Thanksgiving from WBCTV, Channel 4. The programs normally seen at this time will not be shown so that we can bring you the following special program. Portions of the following program were pre-recorded. Winner of the Emmy Award for Outstanding Achievement in Production of Special Events, NBC proudly presents the Macy's 55th Annual Thanksgiving Day Parade, brought to you live from New York City. Your host for today's parade, Ed McMahon, and an array of stars including Melba Moore, Linda Ronstadt, Rick Smith, Captain and Tennille, Sister Sledge, The Spinners, Cheetah Rivera, George Rose, Gregory Hines and Phyllis Hyman, Eric Estrada, Cool and the Gang, Larry Kurt, Sugar Babies, Ann Miller, Don McLean. From New York's Lincoln Center, highlights from the Metropolitan Opera production of Hansel and Gretel. From Broadway, Sophisticated Ladies, Camelot, and the off-Broadway musical Pump Boys and Dinettes. The Radio City Music Hall Rockettes. Gimme a Break's Nell Carter. From the film Annie, Aileen Quinn and Jeffrey Holder. From Days of Our Lives, Bill Hayes and Susan Seaforth Hayes. Andrea McCardle, Mo Bandy, your favorite Sesame Street characters. From The Facts of Life, Nancy McKeon and Kim Fields. New York Yankee Dave Winfield. Disney's Kids of the Kingdom. From Hill Street Blues, Michael Warren and Charles Hayde. Barry Ingham, a highlight from the holiday classic, The Nutcracker Ballet. From Lewis and Clark, Wendy Holcomb. Love Sydney's Kalina Kipp. Rodeo star Dan Daly. The Puppets of Nickelodeon. The roller skating elephant, Tara. Plus, marching bands, clowns, floats, giant balloons, and much, much more, including the one and only Santa Claus. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade telecast is brought to you in part by And now, here's everybody's favorite companion to watch a favorite parade with, Ed McMahon.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and happy Thanksgiving, everyone. In Vermont, winning the All-State Music Festival Parade, winning the Cup, signifies you're the best in the state. For 6 of the last 7 years, this band has done it. The Brattleboro Union High School Colonel's Marching Band, led by director Robert H. Simonds. Give a listen. Coming into view is one of the loveliest of all the floats in this parade.
And just in case you missed it, we thought you'd like to take a look at it just one more time.
In Vermont, winning the All All-State Music Festival Parade, winning the Cup, signifies you're the best in the state. For 6 of the last 7 years, this band has done it. The Brattleboro Union High School Colonel's Marching Band, led by director Robert H. Simonds. Give a listen. Coming into view is one of the loveliest of all the floats in this parade. It's the Dollhouse, furnished by Johnny International. Its special rider this morning is one of Broadway's most spectacular dolls, a star in every form of show business.
And then at the end of the parade, there was another treat, as a sign popped into view right behind Santa Claus. Watch now, it's coming in from the left. 4 cardboard signs that say, you guessed it, BUHS, supporters from Brattleboro. And watch as NBC froze it for posterity as they said, Happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas. And that night, the news reported on Brattleboro.
Penny Clifford with the weather. From Channel 31, this is Newsday.
Good evening and happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Millions of Americans enjoyed their Thanksgiving Day today, and they were also treated to the Brattleboro Union High School Marching Band. The 102-member troop was picked to be the first Vermont band to ever march in the annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Brattleboro area residents raised more than $40,000 to send the band to New York. Here's how the nation saw them, introduced by NBC's Ed McMahon.
Vermont, winning the All-State Music Festival Parade, winning the Cup, signifies you're the best in the state. For 6 of the last 7 years, this band has done it. The Brattleboro Union High School Colonel's Marching Band, led by director Robert H. Simonds. Give a listen.
After a few more days of seeing the sights in the Big Apple, the Colonels will return to Brattleboro Saturday night, where they're going to be greeted with a special welcoming home ceremony featuring a sirens blazing police escort. And boy, do they ever deserve it. Terrific job today by the Brattleboro Union High School Marching Band in New York City. Well,
good morning. This is your Community Action Communique Open Mic, and I'm Larry Smith. And this morning, we're going to highlight the Brattleboro Union High School Marching Band and their performance in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and also the Welcome Home plans as the band returns from New York City at 6 o'clock on Saturday nights. And if you'd like to call or comment about the band's performance and watching them on national TV and just welcome them home and have some comments, both of our lines are available. That's this morning on Open Mic. Okay. Shortly after the parade, matter of fact, right after the parade in the big finale, we got a call from Bob Simonds. Kurt Taylor interviewed him, and we'll pick up the interview right at the beginning and find out how everything went. In fact, as it was beginning, Bob commenting to us about the band's performance and what they're doing in New York.
Down in front of the NBC cameras for our dress rehearsal this morning at 4 a.m. And so they had a 10-minute slot from 4 a.m. until 4:10, which was obviously in total darkness. The sun had not come up at that time, and it was very cold, but the students were just super. We didn't have any complaints about anything, and I think the excitement and the adrenaline flowing covered up for any of the coldness that they might have, felt. And they just did a super job right straight through until the masked band finale at the end. I just can't say enough for them. They're really just a super, group of young people.
We had quite a few people called in and said they'd seen you down there, and they were really impressed with the performance that they saw on television. What did the band finale consist of?
Well, the band finale, which followed later in the day, in fact, about 11:15, Santa Claus, you see, concludes the Macy's parade each year. And so, after Santa Claus appears in front of Macy's, he turns the corner onto 34th Street, and they have a masked band finale. In fact, there were approximately 1,300 musicians all lined up on the street, and Santa actually goes in amongst the band, and we play a medley of Christmas songs, which concludes the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And it was really quite incredible, not only musically, but very, very colorful with all of the different band uniforms and flags and things. It was really quite a spectacle.
So if you finished your rehearsal for the television cameras around, 4:30 or something?
Yes, that's correct.
And then when did
we had a masked band rehearsal also from 6 o'clock until 7 o'clock.
And when did the parade actually begin?
The parade began at 9 and concluded right at noontime.
Did that go fairly smoothly? I guess after all the years they've been doing it, they must have it pretty well down.
Yes, it's very, very well organized. All the people that we worked with down here were very kind and very helpful. I can't say enough for the Macy's staff who give of their time freely on this day to provide an opportunity for young people in New York and the surrounding area to come to such a spectacular parade. They do just an incredible job, and I can't say enough for them.
Are the kids going to have a chance to see some of the sights in New York?
Yes, we are. In fact, this afternoon, after I get off the phone with you, we're going to be going to Radio City Music Hall for the Christmas pageant show, and the kids will get to see the Rockettes. And then tonight we'll be going to the Sheridan for a Thanksgiving dinner with some of the families who've come down and all of the students in the band. And tomorrow we'll be doing some touring in the morning. We're going to the Twin Trade Towers and also the Statue of Liberty. And tomorrow evening we're going to a Broadway show entitled Barnum. And we'll conclude our touring on Saturday when we go to the United Nations and return home to Brattleboro. Probably will arrive fairly late in the afternoon, between 5 and 5:30.
Do you know at all how many kids or how many of your students haven't been to New York before? Is this a new thing for them?
Well, actually, I was surprised to find that there were a considerable number of students who had never been actually into the city. They may have bypassed it on their way to Pennsylvania or other places, but to actually be right here in the heart of the city, there were a considerable number. I would say probably around 25 students out of our 100 that had never been here, and it was exciting coming in on the bus to hear the comments about, you know, the tall buildings and of course New York is where everything happens, and so they saw a lot of things that obviously they've never seen before, and the comments were quite enjoyable to hear.
Yeah, it sounds like it would be a pretty exciting time. I think I heard that they estimated about 80 million other people around the country were watching. So.
Right. I think right here in the city itself, approximately 2 million people saw the parade live, and then another 80 million people around the country usually tune in on Thanksgiving for the Macy's Day Parade. So, and the weather was just incredible. I was, you know, so thankful that we had such a beautiful day, because it just made all the difference in the world.
Mm-hmm. Were there any other unique kind of bands, or what kind of, were there any other outstanding bands there aside from Brattleboro's?
Well, I would I'd just like to say that I think we are in very special company being here in New York at the Macy's Parade, because all of the bands that were here were just absolutely incredible bands. Most of them were much larger than our own band, and the uniforms were very colorful. Their flag lines were outstanding. A lot of the bands have dance lines, which I was kind of interested to see. I noticed that the band from California had just an outstanding dance line, and also the group from Texas had a dance line, the Ranger Bells, and that's always a hit in the parade. In Vermont, I don't think there are any bands that actually have a dance line like that.
Well, maybe next year.
So.
Oh, well. Okay, well, thanks very much for calling. Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I'd just like to say hello to all the people back home in Brattleboro, and again, thank everyone for the wonderful support that they gave, to us, making this trip possible. If it hadn't been for them, this never could have happened. And so, my thanks to all of them, and I hope everyone back there has a very happy Thanksgiving.
Well, what Bob doesn't know is that when the youngsters and the chaperones arrive at about 5:30 or 6 at the high school on Saturday, they're going to get a welcoming as they got a send-off with some 800 students and townspeople and town officials that were gathered on Wednesday morning for this send-off. Many of them, if not all, will be back to welcome them home, and a job well done. That's all being coordinated by parents, the Friends of BUHS Music, and others, and we'll be telling you more about that. So today it's sightseeing in New York. It'll continue tomorrow, and they'll be coming home aboard their 3 charter Vermont Transit buses, and yet another milestone for our high school marching band. Last coming in 1976 when the band performed in the Cherry Blossom Parade in Washington. Open mic continues in a minute. Sarah, good morning.
Hello. I'd just like to make a comment about the band. And, I sat there and I watched them and close to tears because they were so beautiful. And I do have a question. I'd like to know who the young man was that they did the close-up on that played the trumpet.
If I'm correct, that solo's by Eric Anderson, and I think Bob pointed that out on our open mic program. I am pretty sure, and I thought I recognized him, that should have been Eric Anderson that did the solo.
Yeah, well, they were really great, and I'm very proud of them.
We're on the air.
Morning, Larry. I'd like to say what a super proud day it was to be able to sit at that television and watch those marvelous children from our high school. It was just the greatest thing and the thrill, and I wondered how many people really discovered that BUHS sign. That just seemed to make the day complete right there. And I would also like to share another very happy moment that happened to us yesterday. And by the way, this is Pat Welton. We were a host family. We got a beautiful phone call from Burlington from David Hall, the young man who stayed with us over the 3 days that Upland people were here. And it was just so marvelous to hear his voice, and he wanted to congratulate the BUHS band, its members, the townspeople, and just say what a superior job. Now, he comes from Alberta, Ontario. And he was just amazed. He said, what a town Brattleboro really is, and he was so happy to have been a part of it for just 3 days. And we were just felt so marvelous that he called us to wish us a happy Thanksgiving and all around Brattleboro and the area, and I just wanted to share that with all the listeners.
Bye-bye. You're on the air. Good morning.
Hi, Larry. I called Channel 5 in Boston yesterday about noontime and asked them if they knew about the Brattleboro High School band being in the Macy Parade, and they said no, they didn't know about it. So they had an announcement of it on the Channel 5 news last night.
You're on the air. Good morning.
I like to say, I like the band very much. And, the person who was playing the horn, trumpet, was my neighbor.
Okay, well, I'm sure you got a good look at him, too, and everybody else in the band. Thanks for the call.
Bye.
Bye-bye. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Larry. As a band parent, we, of course, are very proud of our band. And when our daughter called home last evening, we told them what a super job they did and what good coverage they had. And also mentioned about the 4 placards being shown right at the end. And they said, you saw that? They were really excited about that.
That was just incredible. You couldn't ask for anything more.
And I would like some details about when and where everybody's going to meet for tomorrow evening when they come home.
Good morning. I'd like to say that without Bob Simonds, our director, that the band wouldn't be half as good. And I'd just like to thank Bob Simonds for the great work he's doing.
Good morning.
Larry, there must be a lot of sore feet in New York. How far did the band march?
2.5 miles, and up to now it's only been about 1.25 miles or 1.75 miles that they have marched in a parade. This was their longest.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Thank you.
Morning.
Good morning, Larry. It was great. I was chewing my fingernails yesterday morning until that band finally appeared. And they were up at Macy's by then. Channel 13 said they'd be coming in at 6 o'clock.
As alumnus of Brattleboro, I was very proud of the band. I'm also a teacher in a nearby school, and I also had a double treat yesterday in Macy's parade because Naomi Boyd of our school, Whitingham, was playing in McDonald's band, and she'll also be representing Windham County when she goes out to play in the Rose Bowl parade with McDonald's band.
Well, you know, I was thinking about that when I saw the All-American Band of McDonald's, because I remember some BUHS students that were in that All-Star band in the past, and wondered if anybody from around Vermont or specifically around Windham County was in it. So I'm delighted to have you tell us that, and we've got something else to look forward to.
Yes, thank you very much.
Hey, good morning, Larry. Yeah, I join in with everybody else. BUHS band did a beautiful job. But I haven't heard any of you listeners mention yet that yesterday on the Today Show, while Willard Scott, the weatherman, was romping around the streets there, somebody from Brattleboro was holding up a large sign that said Happy Thanksgiving to everyone in Brattleboro, Vermont. Now, I wonder if any of your listeners caught that.
Gosh, I didn't, Dave, but it doesn't surprise me. We've got a lot of anything but timid and shy people around here that made it known in the Big Apple where they were from.
While open mic was going on, the Brattleboro Reformer was preparing to put out a newspaper as to what happened on Thanksgiving Day down in the Big Apple. Reporter Terry Sprague and Norm Runyon sat around and looked at what they were doing as Greg Warden, one of the editors, assisted in the layout of the front page that would declare in great big headlines what a great job was done. The BUHS band sparkles in Macy's parade. Terry Sprague, who took many pictures down there, had a chance to look through the darkroom to see what she could come up with for the front page, and to begin the layout for the next day's full page of pictures that the Reformer presented. The most important part, however, was the writing of the story as Norm Runyon and Terry decided what they were going to talk about. And Norm was more interested in what happened down there as Terry began writing her story.
Yeah, what man's story is. I'm like Tony, the thing is, people want to know what...
Do you see the writing on the stage?
I'm trying not to.
Go ahead. Well, you're here asking what the hell it was.
I wanted to know. I can't think of what is it
Ricky
like.
Harris was
What was it like standing down there on the parade? And kept it very better. Tell me.
Sherry, you listen on
My knees were shaking. My body was shaking. I was cold.
Cold. I know that.
Oh, absolutely cold.
When I was just listening to some of the people on TV, like the 3 hours, they were very cold. So I said, the fans said, what do you like? I said, cold.
I was absolutely starstruck. I forgot there were all these celebrities there, and this wonderful village there. She is right. She Erica Serrano. She was Cinderella. She was Prince Charming. She pulled up this gorgeous gown with her bright red tights and clown shoes. And the clown was trying on the slipper, and the audience.
Oh, you bet. I'm not going to be gone long either.
And then the presses began to roll that afternoon, Friday afternoon, with a front page story about the Brattleboro Super Band as it sparkled in New York City. And then the big night, Saturday night, as they all came home and were welcomed by tons of friends, neighbors, and fellow citizens who were so proud of the Brattleboro Super Band, the Brattleboro BUHS Marching Band, under the direction of Robert Simonds. And they arrived in their chartered buses in the dark of night. The dark of night that was a little hard to photograph for us, but we found that those were the chartered buses after all. It wasn't long before Rescue Incorporated set up their rescue unit and set up their lights and gave us a little bit of light so we could see some of what was going on. Meanwhile, the junior high school band played a welcome for their fellow band members. And then it was time to go inside the high school gymnasium where they had a chance to look at a little videotape. A videotape of what they themselves were doing down in New York. A chance to look at the Macy's parade for the first time for many of these people. The first time that they could see themselves on television. All presented right here in the gymnasium for them.
keep us all back here in Brattleboro.
Last couple of days, how do you feel right now?
Well, I'm tired. It's been a long 4 days, but a wonderful 4 days. We had actually great weather in New York. The kids got to see a lot, got to do a lot. It was just an incredible experience. I'm sure the other ones will be on it. And this welcome home was, put the topper on the whole thing. It was frosting on the cake, as far as I'm concerned. I personally just never expected anything like this. And it just shows the love that the community has for these young people. And it's just super.
He called and was worried about clearance. I don't think there's any problem. We got it.
What are you going to say about it all?
Yes? Leaving.
I was outside when they went by, but they called me on.
Hi, Larry. How you doing?
All right, it's time to return.
Hey, you gotta come this way.
Are we going through the back?
You gotta come this way, right?
We hope you've enjoyed tonight's presentation by BCTV of some of the things that have happened around the Brattleboro Union High School Marching Band. Thanks to everybody, to Bob Simonds, to everybody involved in the fundraising, and to everybody that made this a success for the community of Brattleboro. BCTV says thank you.